welcome to the third and final game on Point of Reach. We are 6-4, yeah, 6-4 in favor. Oh, what am I saying? This is 7-4 Zock up against the wall. Apologies, this is early in the morning trying to get through all these. But Zock, if he loses the next one, he will come out of the tourney as the loser with a score of 8-4. Pretty amazing. We've had 4 wins in a row, then another 4 wins in a row, then 3 wins in a row for Blackheart. And now that game where Zock really kind of threw it, I think, against the Percy. One thing to note about these two players. On water maps, this is now 5 games where on Roanoke and also Point of Reach, Blackheart has won. And the other 2 games where he's won to make it 7 were UEF versus Cybern. All the other times, the other 4 games, Zock has won, but very specific situations. Now what we have is Seraphim on Seraphim and Zock in a situation where he hasn't won. He needs to win if he has a chance to make this go to Rivers, and if he wins this, it'll be 7-5 in favor of Blackheart on Rivers, where Zock will have to win Rivers 3 times to win the tourney, and Blackheart only has to win 1 time out of those 3 games to win the tourney. I think Blackheart is in a great position, and if he doesn't want to lose too many nerves, he needs to finish it now. Also, for casting this game in the future games, Lucian has casted one of Niflheim games. I enjoyed that cast immensely. Actually, there's a few things that he said about raiding which have stuck with me, and that's the great thing about listening to Lucian, is he'll leave you with things to think about afterwards, which is the best thing. You don't want to listen to somebody and forget everything they said. So we'll see. In the previous 2 games, in the very first one we had a battle on the left island. In the second game we had kind of a clockwork style game where, yeah, it was just a little quicker for Blackheart, and that quickness converted into a big advantage. In the first one was a battle over this island which Blackheart has won, and then that reclaim advantage was just too much to overcome for Zock. And yeah, I remember the combinations. Yeah, I casted those yesterday. Floating Artie together with the Yanzi tank is something to be absolutely feared. I used to think that Aeon was the floating faction with the mobile shields, but no, it is the floating Artie together with, oh, look at this scout, multiple hair factories. Looks like Blackheart is going to play the way this has been played second game. In the second game, he was coming from the top. He's going to grab this island. We'll see what kind of preparations these 2 players make in terms of grabbing. And you can see how much earlier it is. Zock is so much later, and Zock doesn't really know where that drop came. So yeah, he's going to go to the left, so just like the second game. But if Blackheart was to drop this island first, oh, look at that. Zock has given away the position of his transport, although the transport is not in danger. This inti should be shut down. Scout's looking up ahead. So very professionally done moves. And one interesting thing, if you don't do it like this and you get caught with the transport at such a critical stage, you're done. On this map, you're done. So it's like walking a tightrope, and whoever slips on it first is gonna face a very agonizing next 5 to 10 minutes of trying to survive and eventually die. And here you can see Blackheart already setting up at least 5 land factories, so this will be a major assault in this position. Perhaps a couple frigates here would be a good idea. And Blackheart now looking to drop. He's going to try to weaken this island as much as he can to prevent any kind of defense, and then he'll run everything over. Zock is thinking probably something similar. He does have a bomber here, but he is a bit slower, and actually the ACU for Zock significantly slower than Blackheart's ACU. And once again, I gotta say it, Blackheart on these 6 island maps has been playing them beautifully. So if he wins this, I think he completely deserves it. Even though one might make an argument that he just dominated the water maps, that's why he won, but that's not true. He won 2 very big battles, UEF versus Cybern on Niflheim and on Reger. Those were excellent battles that he won, and if he only won the water maps, he would not win the tourney. but he absolutely dominated on the water maps. See if Zock can change it, and I do hope that Zock changes this. He can steal one back from Blackheart, but he's at this point not doing it. Excellent engineer behind enemy lines. He's actually just gonna reclaim it. He doesn't care. A bomb and successful dodge. Good bomber from Zock. Zock's even though he was a little later on this drop, his floating arty's out a little quicker. Well, relatively. This floating arty has the potential to kill many engineers. NG versus arty battle. Oh, you can do it now, yeah. 170 mass delivered. I don't know if that already did any kills. Damaged a couple structures. More floating arty on the way. And early on, one thing that we also have to note: 3 naval factories. Only 1 naval factory, more drops. In the previous game, I gotta say, Zock was excellent with drops. He was, I think, more aggressive. I still haven't looked at the APM, haven't had a chance. My prediction would be that Zock had much higher APM last game. It was all over the place. You can see he was putting in the effort. He just got beaten. His main base got run over with a Yancey floating arty force. There was nothing that he could do. Similar to the beatdowns he received on Roanoke, it was just like, yeah, the 2 top players with the, on paper right now, Horse is number 2 in the 1v1. Zock is number 1, but that's not the way it looked like in the first 3 games. Here's a drop that's just sort of waiting for orders here in the very middle. Loaded up with 7 engineers. Floating arty versus frigates. You can see Blackheart trying to utilize frigates to save his expansion. Elsewhere, we do see frigates for Zock, just a single frigate though. And why? I do not understand this move. Why is the floating arty? Maybe perhaps he's regrouping. So maybe Blackheart. Yeah, here it is. Sometimes it's good to move sideways and then in. Steps of 90-degree turns to really regroup all your units. And we already see the Yancey. Perhaps he'll assault Zock's island on 2 different fronts. Through this choke point and also through the top. Meanwhile, Blackheart's island hasn't really suffered too much. Zock is up ahead by nearly 20 mass. Yeah, you can see what happens when it's arty on arty. There's not a lot of aiming, there's a lot of throwing things that will kill you up in the air. A lot of different weapons in this game. And for the last 7 years, people talking about no faction diversity. I mean, you guys are such idiots. I probably shouldn't even talk about you. Now looking back at this, looks like a drop 8 units in the Seraphim. Oh, where is he going with that? Oh yeah, this is always a great position drop. That's one thing I noticed about this map, staring at it over the last 2.5 games. This is made for drops. Every single island has weaknesses. Like here, there's no protection whatsoever. Drop it, you take out 4 mask checkers, perhaps more. Here, of course, it's easier said than done when there's an enemy air force. But when you do make a drop, it's going to be devastating. Elsewhere, we do see an assault. Now, one thing that would have, made this turning better if Guile would have casted 1 or 2 of the games to get much more exposure. And incidentally, if you're one of Guile's fans on his channel and you accidentally found this one, you should also bring all your friends, because I'd love to get in on Guile's audience, and I would take suggestions from you how I can emulate Guile, although probably can't. I'm not from the Imperial center of the universe, only from Seattle, but we'll see. Horse playing excellent defense. Actually, Zock also playing better defense. What we're seeing in Game 3 relative to the first 2 games is that much stronger defense on these islands. We're seeing 3 islands per player. We're still seeing some successful raids, but it's not like the entire island gets run over. Well, this is interesting. And in terms of naval now, a lot more navy for Zock. This is reminiscent of a second game where Zock had a pretty good naval to land and then it got ran over. Perhaps that might happen again, but this time Zock has got Yancey standing by, making sure that won't happen again. Zock also has done some nice raiding here, and a couple of Yanceys running up, try to suppress naval. And that's one thing on this map, just like on all water maps, if you get a strong navy, you're in a very strong position. Might not be as much of a game ender here because it's quite spread out if you can hide your ACU and snipe the enemy, but it's as close as it gets to the game ender. There goes another transport. We still haven't seen a major airfight, we've seen some smaller ones. And now Zock is going to engage Blackheart. Actually, both players counterattacking this island. Good looking Tector Raider here for Zock. That should give him early warning. And Zock looking to win this battle. If Zock wins this battle and can counterattack, this would be a completely different gameplay than the first two. And now floating arty is going to come in. These need to... Ooh, they're giving the wrong order. They need to come in and defend. Still no Tech 2 Navy. No Tech 2 Navy for Force. And Blackheart forced back. And I'm curious to see if Blackheart Horse Banana will ever change. Well, before the end of the term, he will change his name once again. It's funny what Lucian said, that he's trying to find himself. Yeah, Lucian put it very well. Gunships now out for Blackheart. A lot of build capacity. Blackheart is a little quicker, and actually, look at those ecos. They're nearly identical. Zock is slightly ahead, and both players seems to have successfully defended. But once again, the Zock's navy suffering at the hands of Blackheart. Although it shouldn't be that big a deal, because Blackheart isn't a Russian navy to any extent. What we're gonna see in the near future is a major air fight. And whoever wins it is going to be at a big advantage. If Blackheart can win, he's going to have the gunships have free reign, deny a lot of mask structures. And this map, mask structures, very spread out, very vulnerable against quick units like the gunship. Although, 17 minutes in, let's check out the reclaim. 5,000 for Zock, Blackheart 4,000, so 5,000 difference. And Zock is continuing to dominate in terms of mass. And what is happening here? Zock might not want to do this whole war. A couple great overcharges from Blackheart. I think that has weakened this force sufficiently, and Zock needs to retreat, attack somewhere else. No need to feed Blackheart reclaim. And now this is there's some Tech 2 here. Yes, this is the HQ. These forces continue to get stronger and stronger, and these gunships, I think this is the worst place for them to have attacked. Right at the enemy air force. They're going to kill a total of 1 Tech 1 mass extractor. And maybe this will precipitate a battle. This may not be the best place to battle. Oh, these are out of fuel. They won't get to the battle in time, and a mistake from Blackheart, this could be critical. These planes did not make it. And Zock will take the advantage. He'll wipe out the rest of the air force. Oh, this is an important turn of events here now. Minute 19. Zock, similar ecos. Oh yeah. Even though these inties out of fuel, they're still able to fight, and it looks like Zock did not have a big enough advantage, but he's got this air force. Meanwhile, here come the gunships. That is a significant force. I think if this force is given enough cover, it can wipe out this entire island, unless we see major Tech 2 flak production. We see at least one here. But together with a nice land force that can take out this Tech 2 flag, these gunships can wipe out that island. Meanwhile, up top, the battle continues. A lot of reclaim in the water. Zock attempts to pick some up. I think Zock is in a position to take air control if he were to fight. The question is, when is Blackheart going to provoke him enough? And this right here is over 1,000 mass. Tech 2 units are much more expensive than the Tech 1 floating arty. Tech 1 floating arty is something, I think it's actually 50 mass, so each one of these is about 220. It's about a quarter of the mass for each one of these compared to those. And quite a bit invested in these forces. People have been very aggressive, not too much sitting back and teching, although in teching we do see tech to mass ejectors and power, about 1,000 more for Zock, which I'm curious, where is he spending that? He is not spending it. He's wasting more than half of his power. And wow, these gunships. Look at that micro though for Zock, keeping his forces real tight. Gunship staying out of this one, then maybe you want to stay in to try to give his inties better chance. Zock though, not realizing his advantage, retreats, actually loses a whole bunch of inties in the process. Oh man, actually there were some reinforcements coming in from Blackguard. This air battle continues with gunships are going to assault Zock's position. There is some tech to flak here, so an opportunity to make a mistake for Blackguard. Elsewhere we see it looks like this almost a successful assault. I think if Blackguard would have consolidated his gunships with this assault, this would have been over. The gunships would have been excellent for taking out the PDs. The land units would have been excellent at taking out tech to flak, and it would have been map control. However, Blackguard choosing to use his gunships for something that has led to their demise. They're no longer there. However, he still has air control. What are the plans for these two players? Tech 2 naval with destroyer. Look at this spam, major spam. Tech 1 inties. Blackguard I think sensed the danger and he just put so much build capacity on air spam. Zock much smaller air spam, although he can afford much more because of all that power. As Blackguard, after running over this expansion island, is going to make an attempt to assault Zock's main base in the smaller expansions, leaving quite a bit of reclaim for Zock here. And gunships for Zock will be dispatched. No tech to flak with these forces will be easy kills unless Blackguard comes in with his air force, which he can easily do because the air force for Zock is not there. I don't see. You wouldn't want to call that an air force in comparison to that. I think these gunships are in quite a bit of trouble, although they will get their job done. And a destroyer in this position as well. As we see Blackguard with his ACU, he's going to lead an assault on Zock's left expansion as Zock continues to defend quite well on its right island. And actually a couple Yanceys up on the right side. So who's got an advantage here? I think the biggest advantage is the Air Force right now. The air domination from Blackguard is giving them a big advantage. These gunships trying to hide, especially if all this build capacity is turned into making it gunships or T2 bombers. We see torpedo bombers here. That will be a direct counter to that destroyer, although they're not being used. And do we see a cruiser? No, just destroyers. What Zock needs is tech to flak and cruisers, and here's some tech to flak. 12 kills already, and a destroyer here as well. I guess we could say that there is a naval advantage. At least I'm seeing a few more destroyers from Zock, but there are also destroyers from Blackguard. Oh, and this could be the reverse of Game 2. If Blackguard's navy can suffer enough in the hands of this force, that will shut down its production, and we might see a big air fight. Zock suddenly has an air force. See how quickly these players are able to build up a significant air force, and your units become obsolete. The gunships are dispatched. Oh wow, why horses in the water? What the heck is he doing? He's gonna die. Oh my god. The Blackguard. Oh, what an overcharge. Took down that destroyer. But torpedoes. Zock needs torpedoes to finish this. 3,000 health on Blackguard. A must win for Zock. Blackguard probably wondering, what the heck am I doing out of the middle of the ocean? Why did I do it? So there's a lot of regrets in all this. You can see ground fire in a position where there's nothing there. And this is Zock sensing blood. He is moving completely. Yeah, he's moving in this direction. The problem is with all these shallow maps, unless you have Cybern or EEF, the A on torpedo bombers are quite shitty. You can hide them quite well. You can see the torpedo bombers going over, but nothing is going in. So you really need, if you want to kill an ACU here, a Seraphim or Aeon, you need your Navy. Or if you're Aeon, you can get those Tech 3 torpedo bombers. And Blackguard needs to set up some sort of land. Maybe gets engineers, drop some tech to engineers, get himself a safe base. He also needs to win this battle. Torpedo bombers haven't been hurting him, so he's relatively safe in the water. Oh, and a great piece of veterans. He's got 7,000 health. Will he escape? Although he is running back on land in the face of a whole bunch of gunships, this could be a mistake. Also, Yancey's taking shots at him. And this is now a 7-5 tourney. Oh, I think this game was a lot closer. Blackheart taking some sort of mistakes. He must have, he must have got hit by a couple of these T2PDs, which forced him into the water. A lot of action in this one, but this is the last game of Point of Reach. Hopefully you enjoyed the last 3 games. The future 3 games are going to be on Rivers with a great score of 7-5. Zock up against the wall. Blackheart needs 1 win to win this journey.